So you walk into your local game store with a brand new Commander deck that you've just made. You're so excited to try it out. You sit down, you meet with some strangers, and you say, hey, let's start playing some Commander. You get into the game, and about 2-3 minutes in, you are realizing you are severely outmatched, or you have outmatched the table. You're absolutely destroying them. The vibes are off. Everything is completely not as you expected. Magic, especially Commander as we know it, is a social game. You're going out and playing with other strangers. So, to avoid that scenario, let's talk about something extremely crucial to Magic, especially Commander, the turn zero conversation. Before we dive in too much, my name is Akshay, you're watching Cozy Card Gamer. Alright, let's get into it. When you're playing Commander, you are meeting 3 people, other than yourselves typically, and you're saying, let's have a shared experience where we're going to have a good time. That is at least my primary outcome. At the end of the day, it is a game, so we are going to be trying to enjoy the game. Yes, we're going to be trying to win, but a big goal is to also enjoy the time spent with other people, which is the gathering part, right? Obviously, a lot of these rules apply for if you're playing casual. If you're playing Bracket 5, CEDH, the turn zero conversation isn't that important, right? You are there to win. You are going to play the best in slot cards, you are going to play hyper-optimized lists, and you're going to try to win. So the entire rest of this conversation is purely predicated on the fact that I'm talking about casual games. What can make turn zero easier? Well, let's talk about it. The very first thing that I want to bring up is the bracket system. Now, we can dive much deeper into my thoughts about the brackets and what I actually think the brackets represent and the different varying power levels. That is a whole conversation for another time. I'm going to simply be talking about them in reference to the turn zero conversation, which I believe is what they're intended to be used as. Brackets are simply a framework for the turn zero conversation. I'm just going to give you 2 examples of how to not use the brackets and how to use the brackets. I have this brand new deck that I've made. It's technically a bracket 2. There's no tutors, there's no game changers, and I think it's going to be super fun. Let's play it. The minute someone says it's technically A, that already raises some red flags, right? What they're trying to say is they have used the bracket system to fit their rules and to try to fit within the confines of the rules, and they're using it to kind of one-up on you, it feels like. It doesn't feel like it's in the spirit of the game, right? And while I am competitive as well, we all like to win, that's just not the point of this. That's not the point of the brackets. That's not the point of why they were created, in my opinion. The brackets are supposed to be used to try to set expectations so we're all on as even of a playing ground as we can, and then you want to win, right? After you have that crucial setup, then trying your hardest to win is completely acceptable. Here's a better example of how I would use the brackets. I just made this brand new deck. There's 1 tutor in it. There have been no infinite combos. There's nothing like that. I primarily am going to win through combat damage. It is a slow, rampy deck that aims to just beat face, right? It's a Gruul deck. I think it's around bracket 3 level. Perfect. You've set expectations. You've used the brackets to your advantage. You've given people an idea of where you are going to fit. They know to expect a slightly higher powered game, but you're not going bracket 4 or 5, which is going to be competitive, CEDH. Generally, the win cons of those are going to be super hyper optimized. You're going to want to combo out and beat players. That's not what you're aiming to do there. You've set expectations correctly. Even within bracket 3, there are vast areas, right? Higher powered bracket 3 could be something that you have specifically tuned to try to win by turn 7 or turn 8. Or there could be a lower powered bracket 3, which is you've made a typal deck that you just like this type. Another way to have the turn zero conversation a bit more effectively is splitting it between casual and non-casual. Are we trying to have a game where we are all sitting around playing our stupid humans deck, or I made a goblin deck, or I made an earthbending deck? That is, the latest deck that I made is a Toph deck, which is just trying to sling rocks at you. Not the metal bender, the greatest earthbender. I really want to get the feel and the thematic of slinging rocks at you, right? That is going to be different than my pretty optimized Ureni deck. Now, both those decks could technically be a bracket 3. That is not the case, though. I know for a fact that my Ureni deck plays much stronger, much faster, and much better. So if we're trying to have a more casual game, I'm probably not going to pull that out. If we are trying to test and push to higher power levels, I will probably pull out something that's much stronger, right? I have a Hearthhold deck that does have Dakmor Salvage. It does have the Gitrog monster. I know it can pull out that combo. If I add a Food Chain to that deck, I know the combo it can pull out. I would not say that's very casual, right? If someone is playing stacks or just trying to completely shut the board down to just try and win, I would say that's not very casual. So using that in conjunction with the other ones can really help you get a feel for the turn zero conversation as well. Another thing to consider is how you're interacting and having the turn zero talk with friends. Like if you have a regular play group, they're going to know your deck versus strangers who you may not know. When you're talking to strangers, it's essential to clarify what you are trying to do. When you're talking to friends, a lot of my friends know my Ureni deck. A lot of my friends know my Elenda deck. They know to adjust the power level accordingly. A lot of strangers that I might meet at my local game store don't know that deck. Obviously, they don't know me. So clarifying that, hey, I do win through a combo in this Elenda deck. I am going to try to drain the table for a lot. I'm going to be making a lot of vampires. Please play accordingly. You don't even have to use the brackets, but if you're going to, it would be a bracket 3 deck. And I think it's really important to set those expectations to make sure that we can all have a good time. You have to ask yourself, are you here to enjoy the game and spend time with friends, or are you here to just win by no means necessary and completely ignore the gathering part? In my opinion, what makes the game of Commander so beautiful is you can meet new people in your community. You can go out to a local game store, you can meet new people and say, hey, let's share in this experience together. And you want to make sure that you leave folks not feeling like they've had a negative or bad experience meeting you and playing with you, but even if they do lose, you want the vibes to still be up and enjoyable. If you've stuck around to the end, thank you so much for watching. I've discussed a lot more Commander politics and discussing a lot of the other sets that are coming out in 2026. If any of that sounds interesting to you, feel free to click on the videos linked around here, and I will see you next time.